they suddenly obstructed my way. They started kind of like, behaving like gundas and, rowdies and like, where are you from? And, they started hurling abusive words. I request Prime Minister Modi ji, Honorable Modi ji, works really hard, but the bureaucrats under you are not working hard. They are not even responding to us. Modi ji, we don't even have a nodal officer. I handled 36 cases with my own money, Modi ji. I'm not reimbursed any of those money. I can't even reach any higher authority when there is a need.
Namaste, very good evening and welcome to Citti Media. My name is Citti and I'm host for this program. Unfortunately, last night there was a very brutal assault against an intersex activist, Gopi Shankar Madurai. And this is an attack that is happening for the fourth time, not just because he represents a certain community, but also because he has threatened or seems to threaten certain political establishments in Tamil Nadu. So, this is the first time you're hearing a state government persecuting an activist. And this is just horrendous for that matter. Um, Gopiji, you're an intersex activist, you're an equal rights and an indigenous rights activist. You even contested the Tamil Nadu Assembly elections for the first time as somebody who's openly intersex and genderqueer for that matter. And you've been appointed as the regional representative for the South in the NCTP, that is National Council for Trans Persons. First of all, what happened to you last night is extremely horrendous. Could you summarize what happened, what exactly happened, and what was the nature of this attack?
Yeah. Namaste, Sharanji, and thanks for having me and listening to me. Basically, yesterday night around 9:30, I started walking. Recently I have some heart issues. I need to walk I do need to do slow walk, and I don't prefer it in the morning. I do it in the night after my work, leisurely, and so yesterday like that I was walking, leisurely on the road around 9:30, and then like around 10 there were a group of the 6 people with a so how I know they are from a particular political party in the sense their vehicle had stickers of Mr. Y. Gopalaswamy, who's known as Vaiko, and also the Mallai Satya, who is the present, MLA or like from the Mahabalipuram. He was also a former MLA, I think. So they are from DMDK party, but they are in alliance with the DMK, which is in the power here. So people from this, political party, they were like. Where are you from? Who are you? And why are you walking on the road? So the way they even were questioning me was not okay. They suddenly obstructed my way. They started kind of like, behaving like gundas and, rowdies and like, where are you from? And, they started hurling abusive words, and I don't know them. By seeing the sticker, I said, like, you should ask your political leader, oh, you know who am I? I'm the son of Malay Satya. I said, like, I know his son is very young and he studied catering in Dubai and all that. And uh, they were blatantly lying. And then, like, meanwhile, I alerted the protocol officer or the officer who is in touch with me from the center. Um, and he immediately alerted the local police, DSP, especially patrolling. When the patrolling vehicle came, they were not very affirmative though. But then, like, I was trying to get inside. There was a large argument, and before I get inside the patrolling vehicle, they were like, uh, uh, you know, I was trying to sit in the front seat of the vehicle. They obstructed my way. They said, like, you're not supposed to sit in the front. I said, the police, what they are doing? Why are you just simply watching it? Why can't you say or do something like that? And then I went and kind of somehow we managed. And then he said, like, let him sit in the front. And then, like, I sat in the front, uh, and somewhat we reached the local police station. uh, my position with the government of India, which is I'm the South Regional Representative, where I take care of the policies which is from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and all other union territories in the south, including Lakshadweep, Andaman Nicobar, and Puducherry, Yanam, Mahe. So it is equal to the Undersecretary to the government of, or which is in par with the Undersecretary to the government of India. I told him, I called my department, the Ministry of Social Justice Empowerment. They said, oh, we can't do anything in this time. And this is the second time this is happening. Earlier, when such abuse took place, they responded or they questioned or they sought a report from the, Shailendra Babu IPS after 3 weeks of the incident.
Mm. So this has happened in the past, and if I'm not mistaken, the last time we spoke, we were supposed to do this recording as well. You were telling me that the center had instructed the local police to give you protection. So have they given you protection?
No, the center did not instructed the look. I mean, like the center, the Home Ministry has sought a response and report from the Tamil Nadu police regarding my security, and because I work with the transgender people community, especially I earlier had a lot of threats from the Hijra transgender, Tirunangai, Haveli Jamaat, Dayar systems. This Haveli Jamaats, or when the gender non-conforming children run out of their home at the age of 14, they go and seek refuge or asylum with them. And, you know, at the age of 14, the children lose all their childhood, all they see is condoms, and, they are domesticated into begging and sex work there, where within our transgender communities, we have a supreme leader whom we need to pay taxes, at least 3 lakh rupees initially. After the surgery is done, we are domesticated into prostitution and begging. And most of the policy, majority of the policies from the government of India, as well as the state governments, various Indian state governments, are only focusing on the transgender adults, but not on gender non-conforming children or children with gender fluidity from the age of 0 to 18 or 0 to 17 or 15. So when a 14 years old child is running out of
Yeah.
10 years old child ran out of his home from Teni to Trichy, with, or he will get a free surgery from the Jamaat. And then when they went, they left the home, they were, dressed like a woman, and then, orally and anally, sexually, kind of, they forced them to do prostitution. And then, like, after that, somehow our few trans volunteers came to know this, and they kind of launched a complaint in the local police. The local police didn't accepted the complaint. So what happened was, I called Delhi again, and then, like, the police came forward to register a complaint. They need to arrest 3 people. I invoked with the power conferred on me as a statutory authority. I invoked POS along with the SC/ST prevention of atrocities, with all those necessary, sections on this 3 transgender Hijra people, especially the Nayaks who pay the tax to the Nayaks, to make sure that this child is getting justice. So also I wrote a report to the Juvenile Justice Committee, here. Um, so just to arrest the 3 people, nearly, I mean, hundreds of people protested on the road against the arrest. They prevented the police from arresting these 3 people. So uh, you the same Hijra, the Nayak, who's the head of the South Indian and the Tamil Nadu Hijra Jamaat systems, she herself called and threatened me many times. She is appointed as the transgender welfare board, a state, a state government's transgender welfare board's member, one of the members of the welfare board. I even issued a statement against that. So the point is that, uh, uh, I mean, we have a very horrible, heinous system. Even before this Hijra people, when I was contesting an election, I had death threats. I was
Right.
escorted by police for at least 2 months. Even before that, we had death threats from the, a particular Muslim political party, INL. Or it is a very minuscule party.
Yeah.
They stuck up posters saying that LGBT people are cultural terrorists. They stuck it in
Right.
my college, and second time they did it after the Orlando, mass shooting in the pub, gay pub.
Yeah.
So this is not new to me. I'm not saying that I have a lot of threats and all that, but then whenever I'm in field work, I sought protection, or that's what the Home Ministry or whatever, they sought a report from the state government regarding that. This was done before 1 year, but my appointment was in last, even before last August. But even now, I don't have any protection or anything when I'm going to field work or doing
Right.
anything. I to don't need police to escort me 24 into 7. But when I'm in field, you know,
Yeah.
I need them, because we may go to ride or check up Jamaat or the place where they're living, to ensure that there are no minors kept under who left their home.
Right.
Um, we need to do a lot of such work, and we don't have any policy regulations or guidelines to the district magistrate, to the district child welfare committee, to any others.
Right.
So I'm trying to formulate all such policies. Even during, I'm planning to propose, give a proposal to the the government Ministry of Social Justice Empowerment, my ministry,
Yes.
that I need to visit all the South Indian states and check what is happening. No transgender, so-called transgender rights activists who are working with the Western interests and the money from the Western countries and Europe, especially from America, will question this heinous, horrible, gory slavery Jamaat system.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody do it.
Yeah, I'm the first person to question it, and among the five representatives in the National Council for Transgender Persons, which is a statutory body, uh, I'm the only one who is speaking against this Jamaat system. During the second National Council for Transgender Persons meeting, the Undersecretary of Ministry of Social Justice Empowerment, Subramaniam G, when I'm presenting this issue to him, they didn't even reimburse my travel so far for the second. I had to borrow money from someone to go to attend the ministry's meeting. See, our Prime Minister is working hard.
Yeah.
Our minister is working hard. Why don't the bureaucrats? Why they are not sensitive enough? You know what Subramaniam G told me? He told me that, Gopi, you are an activist. You need to ready to face all this. Yes, I'm an activist. If I am facing all these issues as an activist, that is okay for me. But I'm facing this when you appointed me as a representative to your government. So your government representative, and your government is abused by them, by a state missionary and some gundas.
Yeah.
Doing to that. If I am not safe, how I can protect those community members? And we created, or I was part of creating the Protection of Transgender Rights, Act, Persons Act in 2009.
Right.
We created it to protect our community. If I am not safe,
Yeah.
I can protect the other members. And not as an activist, but as a statutory authority who's in par with Undersecretary to the Government of India. You see all that in paper, but you never confer upon. We don't even have a nodal officer, G. The government is allotting more than 800 crores, nearly 740 crores budget to my ministry. How much they are spending on us? I handled 36 cases. Hijra Jamaat leader and her followers burnt, immolated a trans woman alive in Hyderabad last year. I took care of the case. 24 people, just because they don't want to pay tax to their Hijra Jamaat leader in Tamil Nadu, their house vandalized. They were thrown out of their house. They were threatened. Police didn't register a complaint. I bought this issue out.
Gopiji, do you think it's possible
Cases and
that
incidents.
these Hijra Jamaat representatives are in alliance or some sort of an understanding with DMK and these conservative Muslim parties?
I don't know about the Muslim parties, but because we are also educating the Muslim leaders and the Muslim community, a lot of community members with us, especially who are assisting me, are Muslims too.
Right.
So I'm not an so-called Islamophobic person, and like I work closely with the Muslim communities, and but they are in close alliance with the DMK basically. And, and most importantly, I'm in a place where it is a central center for drug cartel, Mahabalipuram, where we have passed a lot of informations to concerned authorities regarding what is happening in the local.
Right.
The remaining Hindu fisherman community is fisherman Chettiar community who believe they are descendants of Vedavyasa, or they worship Matsya Satyavati, the mother of Vyasa. They believe that they are the head of their clan or whatever it is. Except rest of the majority of the fisherman community are converted to Islam and Christianity, and the drug which is coming to them from the the outer colony where the Catholic Church is located, they pass the drugs from the young children to these children in the slum. Around 83 villages, more than 250 to 300 children are using LSD, IV drugs, and some of the worst drugs actually, and how these young children are using it. And there are majority of our community members meet each other online in dating apps. We have dozens of dating apps or apps to socialize, and majority of this dating or social apps, social media or socializing sites are owned by the Chinese government and the European government, or supported by the Europe and the American interests. Before the Indian government have the data of the number of LGBTQIA people in such dating apps, before the Indian government, Ministry of Information or whatever it is, the other government outside India have information about us. For example, there is this app called Blue offering service in various Indian languages, which is a big threat to the nation's security and a lot of other things. All these apps promote the usage of drugs. And through this app, a lot of people come to the place where I live, especially Mahabalipuram. When I noticed that they are getting the drugs through other, part of the slum, especially near to the church, a certain community members who deal with the drugs, they don't take drugs, but they distribute the drugs to these young Hindu children and their communities, which is completely wrong, basically. Police don't do anything, they keep quiet. They get money. None of the restaurants here are allowed to sell liquor in the beach. Whereas without license, they're just paying bribe to the police. They sell all these things, and the liquor industries are owned by both DMK and AIDMK and all this political party members. And coming back to the point, I raised all these concerns to the village communities. I educated them. I wrote complaints to various authorities. I'm doing my work because my community members, gender non-conforming children, gender non-conforming LGBTQIA children belonging to diverse sexual orientation, gender identity, sex characteristics are affected by this.
Right.
Children are affected by this. So, any other children are affected by this. So I raised this issue. Maybe it would have hurted them, probably.
Yes.
But I was simply walking on the road. Who are these people to question me? What authority they have? They can't say me that I can walk on this road, I cannot stay in this place, I can do this or that. What right they have?
You've also been attacked 2, 3 times in the past. So, what has the police done about this? Has there been any action
They
taken?
haven't registered an FIR so far.
How can they not
Last
register an
time,
FIR?
when such young children run out of their home, when they don't have a place to stay, I was planning to open a shelter home for India's first exclusive shelter home for gender non-conforming children and
Right.
children with gender fluidity or with diverse SOGSC identities. When I was trying to open such shelter home, I invited all those people who are gender non-conforming, because I don't want them to get into this horrible uh, transgender Jamaat system. Uh, so they came to meet me to. So I'm empowered to attend grievances anywhere, as per the law, as per the the
Mm.
Protection of Rights Act 2019. So when I was about to start the grievances, 25 cops, 15, around 12 to 15 district administrative officials, as if they're going to catch a terrorist from Al Qaeda or somebody, they came. They abused our community member. They said that we are. They filed FIR on us for saying that we violated COVID protocols. No, none of us violated COVID protocols. So the case is still going on. They filed false FIR on me
Right.
and the people who were sheltering me in Mahabalipuram.
And this has become a pattern. First of all, I have two things to say, Gopiji.
Yeah, yeah.
We
I
have,
even reached before that. I even reached Kanimoli ji,
yeah,
Karunanidhi ji, daughter of um, Karunanidhi,
yeah,
and she initially affirmed me certain things, but then later her own political party members, I mean, especially she put me in touch with Chandrasekhar IPSG, who is the husband of Tamilachi Tangapandian, who is an atheist who don't have any understanding about diverse sexual orientation, gender identity, sex characteristics, etc. She was one of the reason, and she is one of the big supporter of the group of people who calls the LGBT Pride Parade as Self-Respect Movement's Pride Parade. We have nothing to do with self-respect movement. Even before self-respect movement, even before DMK, Hindu Dharma have temples for us. Near to Chennai in Viluppuram, we have Kuthandavar temple. We have a lot of such temples in different regions of the world. The reason I'm sharing is that the matter was escalated, went to even the CM's sister, who's the present MP, sitting MP. But they politicized the issue. They didn't stood by what is right, what is ethical. They were supporting the corrupted officials and the people who tried to trap me in various cases. Yeah.
Gopiji, I have a couple of things to say.
Yes.
First of all, you have been doing some amazing work. It takes a lot of courage for anybody to do so. So my pranams to you, and I hope you can continue doing your seva like you always have for Mahabharati. And these kind of elements you're not new to, but they should also not be normalized, unlike the government representative who said so. If there is one message that you would like to send across to the highest levels of government in India, what would that be? And we will make sure that happens.
CG, the Home Ministry want to recruit transgender people. The NCRT want to introduce syllabus or training manual for transgender people, or my community members or our community. You know, even the Madras High Court recently passed very favorable judgments and all that, and with um, in which what the judge or a lot of these people don't understand is ground reality. They are not talking to grassroots activists who are not funded by, you know, any foreign interests, basically. Majority of the government institutions, the government itself is only involving people funded by America, Europe, and some individual groups who are closely aligned with the vested interests, but they project themselves to be independent, like a lot of other groups in Chennai and in Delhi. Mm. So there is a huge, more than $3 trillion economy with a global purchasing power, whatever it is. The rainbow economy comes with a huge economy tag, like. And I've wrote to my ministry about having Center for Sexual Orientation, Gender Identity, and Sex Characteristics, Center for SOGSE Studies, an independent autonomous body which train the government officials, political leaders, judicial body members, journalists, and everybody, public, private sector, companies, from workplace inclusion laws to how to recruit and to laws to protect them, to monitor various laws to various union government laws to implement it in various states, to monitor all that. There need to be an independent body, centralized institutions under the government, which will monitor whatever dating apps and whatever, because today it is an issue of nation security, not just us. This is the issue which deals with social stratification of India, national security of India, our dharma, our religion. A lot of things are involved in it. So the Prime Minister, I request Prime Minister Modi ji, Honorable Modi ji, works really hard. But the bureaucrats under you are not working hard. They are not even responding to us. Modi ji, we don't even have a nodal officer. I handled 36 cases with my own money, Modi ji. I'm not reimbursed any of those money. I can't even reach any higher authority when there is a need. Nobody is responding, Modi ji, to implement the act you got in India. Nearly 17 crore money was spent to stop that Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act. People protested in Delhi. The money came from US and Europe to stop that law, because this is the first law you introduced is questioning the horrible, heinous Jamaat system. But people don't want that law. The transgender, few vested interest transgender community members who are, footlickers of this foreign interests, don't want these laws to implemented in India, because a lot of good changes will happen. Because of, I invoked your law to ensure, property inheritance for transgender people in India. I invoked the law you introduced to protect a lot of children, gender non-conforming children in India. I request you to consider our proposal and start an autonomous body, so that the Ministry of Home Affairs or any other ministries, including NCRT, will not consult an so-called non-governmental or civil society which is working for American intelligence or European intelligence, but let me have our own, body where we draft our laws and policies in a non-Eurocentric approach or non-American approach.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing what you have been through, and I hope you stay strong, stay safe, and continue to do the amazing seva that you're always doing.
Yes, Ji.
Thank you so much, Gopi ji.
Yeah, thank you
Namaste.
for talking to me. I hope, something positive will happen through this. Whatever we are doing, it is very important. And some of the communications I sent to my ministry, to the Ministry of Social Justice Empowerment, was not answered at all, or not properly respond. People don't properly respond to it. Or the concerned authorities don't give enough time to listen to us about the problem,
Right.
because I represent the 5 South Indian states with more than 20 million, at least 20 to 20 to 40, I think 20 to 40 million people are living in this part of India. And when we want to represent some of their, some of the transgender communities and so GSC community members, or people with diverse sexual orientation, gender identity, sex characteristics, their plight to the union government, they need to give us time. They need to give us ears to listen.
Yes.
So I hope the government will, do something more constructive. We need an ecosystem where the country's interests are protected, because
Yes.
you see, the West has manipulated my community, and they have used my community members for anti-CAA, NRC protests and everything. From the illegal trafficking which is happening through Bangladesh, the hijras who bring the girls and the other gender non-conforming children inside India, who are living in Bengaluru, everywhere in India, without any proper documents.
Yes.
Very kind of various drug cartels and various other issues happening within them. This community is used or weaponized to target against the nation's interest and the security, as well as Hindu dharma, as well as various institutions in India. Time to wake up. We didn't even took a baby step. So
Yes.
because for all these years I worked without money, and we are serving our country in other sense, like a military officer, because we are tackling the knowledge war. We are not fighting in the border, or fighting within our country with the vested interests.
Yes.
And if nobody is listening to us, and when the higher authority or the prime minister is working really hard, and the people under him are not working hard, in the sense, this is insane. I hope the honorable prime minister will listen to this and do something about it. And I hope the police will also register a case about what happened yesterday. And this is a free country. In India, any person can walk anywhere at any time. This is not some other place.
We hope the Tamil Nadu government, Tamil Nadu police, different ministries and bodies, and even the Prime Minister's office takes serious cognizance of what is happening, because it again, to reiterate what you've just said, it is in the national interest that we protect, that we um, also kind of offer whatever humble support we can to the entire community and people like you who have been fighting for the rights of that community. Thank you so much. Keep up your seva, and please stay safe. And I'm just a phone call away if you need anything. And I don't know what kind of a response we will get, but let's just be hopeful that the government will respond to this in a positive manner.
Absolutely. Namaste then. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gopiji, for
Jai
joining
Ma.
us today.
Namaste. Jai Ma.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.